Yogah Karmasu Kaushalam.
Hello and welcome to the interview session which runs parallel to our video sessions as part of the course HRM for non-HR managers. Today in the studio with me I have Mr. Deven Patel. He is the General Manager HR or Human Resources at Bosch Rexroth Limited which has the operations near Ahmedabad. Mr. Patel, thank you very much for accepting our invitation and thank you for agreeing to interview with us for our participants here. My first question to you is, as your card says you are the General Manager Human Resources, can you please explain your role and responsibilities to our participants and share how your career led up to this current designation?
Sure. I am Deven Patel. I work for a company called Bosch Rexroth India Private Limited as a General Manager Human Resources. To tell you something about my career, I did my graduation in commerce followed by a post graduation in human resources management. Then immediately after my post graduation in human resources management via campus, I got my first job in Arvind Limited, which is the third largest denim manufacturer of the world. Along with my first job, I completed my graduation in law, that is LLB. I worked for Arvind Limited for 4.5 years. Thereafter, I changed to a project based company, gold jewelry manufacturing plant, which was coming up near Ahmedabad. It's called Parekh Platinum Limited. I served that company for a little shorter period for 1.5 years, and then for a bigger role I moved to a injection molding machine manufacturer, Windsor Limited, and I was responsible for their one of the plants total HR, IR and administration function. I served Windsor Limited for again 4.5 years, and I moved to my first multinational company experience, that is Sandvik, and I was responsible for the stainless steel pipe manufacturing plant of Sandvik, situated in northern part of Gujarat. I was responsible for overall all functions of HR and particularly human resources for the blue collar, white collar, industrial relations topics and general administration topics. That was my first experience of working for a multinational. I served Sandvik for almost 6.5 years prior to moving to my present organization, Bosch Rexroth. Currently, I am with Bosch Rexroth since last 11 years. I am responsible for the total gamut of human resources function at Bosch Rexroth, which includes total human resources or life cycle management of human resources, and you can say I am responsible for the right from recruitment to retirement, all processes affecting human resources function. When I joined this company in 2007, we were having 440 employees and a turnover of around 280 crores. Currently, we are 880 employees and we are 1100 crore company. So, this is the growth which I could witness in this present role.
Mr. Patel, when you met me last time, you said that you believe and tell your young colleagues that all managers are HR managers. Can you explain for our participants here what exactly or how do you mean that?
Yeah, you see, in every company there is only one HR manager, or maybe say depending upon the size of the company, you may have a little few more, but definitely you cannot have an HR manager working for every employee. So here every functional manager, every department manager plays a role of a people manager, because every manager is responsible for the career development and motivation of these team colleagues. So he is the first point of contact even for any grievances if an employee has. So he is the person, department head or a department manager or functional manager is a person who is into day to day contact with his team colleagues, and he is responsible for total motivation, career development, grievance redressal of his associates. We also say that sometimes that when an employee leaves, he leaves his manager, not an organization. So all managers play an important role along with his functional or a technical role, a role of a people manager, because he is responsible for the total employees working with his team. Because let us say example, for 800 900 people company, there is a one HR manager. So HR manager cannot be in touch with all employees working for the organization. So his first point of contact for every employee remains his manager. His manager is responsible for his motivation, giving him a challenging task, giving him a day to day feedback on his performance, setting a clear expectation from an employee. Also sometimes having employees having a grievance, then he is the first point of contact to resolve those grievances.
Yes.
Then you may ask that what is the role of an HR manager in the company? The HR manager role is to equip those functional or technical managers with the people management skills. HR manager exposes this managers with the available human resources related tools and processes, educate them and make them competent people managers.
So you seem to say that the role of HR manager is more like a facilitator for others to help manage the people part of the organization. Yeah. You have worked for manufacturing companies, you have worked for a family owned organization, and you have also worked for MNCs. Can you tell me how the work of people management differs in these companies? Are there differences? Are there similarities?
In my career, I gained from both the organizations. I work for Indian family owned organizations, yes, as well as multinational organization. My career of 28 years is divided between 50% 14 years into let us say into an Indian organization, 14 plus years into multinational organizations. In multinational organizations, maybe because of their size in which they operate, countries in which they operate, cultures in which they operate, they have a well defined processes. If you ask human resources, then yes, well defined processes is a core strength of human multinationals. Secondly, the freedom to experiment is also here in multinational. You get a chance to work with a different culture, you have a chance to work in cross functional teams having the people from a different culture, different countries. So the exposure of working in really a diverse environment is more into multinationals. If I say exposure for foreign countries or way in which a particular function is performed in a different cultures and in different countries. So here you get a chance to learn those aspects as well in multinational. And definitely last but not of a least importance is chance to visit those countries and cultures, maybe if you are deputed for any training or if you are deputed for any meetings, then this is another golden opportunity which a person gets to be exposed to different culture and different countries.
So what I understood is on one hand MNCs are characterized by systems, but they also give greater freedom to the managers to explore and experiment.
Yes.
The theory in HR says that HR managers play several roles and the role of business partner is very important. So for our participants, can you share how exactly the HR managers can act as business partners and what does it really mean?
Yeah. Fundamental requirement to be a business partner is to have a place in your top management. In our organization, HR head position has a place in our top management committee, which is a very fundamental that you occupy a space where there is a decisions made. So, our top management committee is responsible for taking crucial decisions related to the company, and the role of HR manager is to give the suggestions, views on any business decision which has got an impact on human resources of the function of the company. So, in my company say then views of HR head is asked for SICT, and for any business decision where there is an impact of that decision on human resources. Even HR manager takes some of the human resources topics for a discussion and deliberation into top management committee for their views and for some joint decision makings. So role of a HR manager is definitely there as a business partner, where he contributes based on his experience of working for human resources, and can help organization in implementing those business decisions with a human angle in it.
Correct. So, the other role for the HR manager is the role of change agent. Is it related to other roles, and how exactly the roles interact, and what do you do as agent of the change?
As I said, that HR manager is an important part of the top management committee, which is a decision making committee. So, there are certain decisions which are taken for the human resources of the organization, and there HR becomes HR head or HR manager becomes a change agent where he leads that change. So, when any such decision is taken which needs organization wide implementation, then we from HR come into a leading role and then decide the communication strategy. We create a buy-in for that particular decision, and which is very important for a successful implementation of that decision, where via communication with a very transparent way, how you communicate the reason behind those changes, you create a buy-in for that particular change, and then we from HR remains in the forefront of such change, and we try to implement such decisions which affects all human resources or a section of human resources.
So, buy-in means effort to reduce the resistance to change, or trying to get more people to agree with and accept what you are proposing to do?
Yes, definitely buy-in means definitely creating acceptance for that change, and whenever any change by nature people has a tendency to resist. So, we need to be in dialogue, we need to be in communication with the section of the associate, those who feel some resistance. We need to give a reasons behind the change, we need to explain them, we need to be in dialogue with them. And remove their any doubts, any apprehensions. So this is very important that we fairly and transparently show them the reason behind the change and the logic behind the change, and what are the advantages for this change in a long run. And this is what we do, indirectly also reducing the resistance and creating a good acceptance, which is very much required for the successful implementation of that decision.
Correct. So, you have mentioned here that within your tenure here at Bosch Rexroth, the strength has almost doubled. Turnover has multiplied how many times? Five times.
Yeah.
You mentioned the need for managers to address issues, botherations or grievance of employees. You've also mentioned that there seems to be the organizational belief in transparency. So, I guess my participants can realize how difficult it could be to achieve all this in such a large organization, which is also spread across locations. So, I am reminded of HRIS, HR Information System. How do you think HRIS plays a role in keeping everybody together and ensuring that operations are smooth and that people can sharing the information and communication becomes effective?
Yes, human resources systems are fundamental in managing large number of human resources working across the locations. If I say from my parent organization point of view, then we are around 3 lakh employees working across 250 different locations into many countries.
Amazing.
So if I talk about my local organization, Bosch Rexroth India, then we are around 900 our own employees working from 8 different locations. So fundamentally, human resources systems plays a very important role for a seamless administration of the function. Right from let's say leave and attendance management to a payroll management, including our performance management is online. There are certain tools which are also online, like our leadership feedback tool, our associate survey. They are also online tools are available. There are certain discussions which happens once in a year with the manager. It's called a talent and associate review, where HR indulge into a discussion with the manager on key employees of his team. So that tool is also online available. So when you have a such systems available online, then it in a multinational organization, multi-locational organization, what is the advantage is that, let's say if an employee is moving from one entity, legal entity, to other legal entity, whether within the country or outside the country in any other country, but if he is a part of the overall organization, let's say Bosch, then his all system follows him. So his new manager can assess his old performance management, what we call in our term is a goal and performance dialogue. Every yearly documents are available with him. Even our personal files have e-filings. So all the data of an employee flows from via system to his new location to a new manager. So HRS, this systems play a very important role in administration of the function.
So I see what you are describing about HRIS. For our participants here, can you share some of the HR metrics or indicators that you track?
Yes, there are a few metrics that we track, like let's say HR service rate, how many associates we have and how many HR colleagues we have to serve the associates. Let's say prior to few years we were having a ratio of 55 employees being served by one HR colleague. Currently in my department we have 110 associates being served by one HR employee. So this is a kind of via different systems we have upgraded our efficiency, and then now we are able to cater to a larger audience of associates via one HR colleague. Second is basically an attrition rate, which is very important that we continuously monitor on a monthly basis to see how many employees are leaving us. So this is an attrition rate. Currently we have an attrition rate of around 6.5%. So we have a target that we take it for ourselves, that we would like to be 2 to 3% lower than our competitor or our market. So this is attrition rate that we monitor. There is another monitoring that we do is this is a process called employee survey. Via that we try to map the employee satisfaction.
Correct.
This is a worldwide process of a Bosch where all associates undergo a voluntary associate survey once in a period of 2 years, and then the final result comes to a manager and to the unit as well. It is measured with a technical term called a management index. And via this management index, a manager knows how satisfied his employees are in his team. So this is one another parameter that we measure. One another important parameter, we being in an engineering company, we are not so good in gender diversity. So we monitor gender diversity also, wherein we see that how many female associates we have in the organization. Currently we are having only 6% as our gender diversity, or maybe a female associates ratio, and because of such continuous monitoring of such parameters, we are able to monitor and maybe also progress, take a goal specific where we want to improve.
Correct. So, you are tracking all these aspects of operations in a very large manufacturing organization, where not only the HRM but the IR aspects are also highlighted or emphasized. So, can you please share something on the IR front with our participants here?
Yes, for any manufacturing organization, industrial relation climate is fundamental requirement for good, continuous, seamless production. And for cordial industrial relations, HR plays very important role to keep workforce on a shop floor united. In a disciplined way, shop floor work should go on, and we from human resources function, we are also responsible for relations with the union.
Right.
And it is our duty and the role that we perform that cordial relations are maintained with the workman representative or with the union, and they also cooperate for continuous growth of the organization, where the most important for any organization production side remains is the requirement for the flexibility and multitasking.
Right.
So, we need to create an environment where flexibility is accepted way of working, and people are willing to be a multitasking. So, there is no resistance for being not doing multitasking. So, we along with the shop floor supervisors and manager ensure that there is an environment created, maybe with a dialogue wherever required, some understanding, some trainings, where environment is created, where this multitasking, flexibility to go for work for different machines or work for different functions is created.
Correct.
Here we also work from human resources function for the training and development of the shop floor supervisors,
Right.
so that they are continuously equipped with the required human resources or people management skills. So, they have a little less friction on the shop floor, and they can smoothly work along with their shop floor associates. So, we provide them required trainings, supports or processes wherein they can successfully implement cordial industrial relations on the shop floor.
So, sir, you just mentioned that you would like to maintain cordiality at the shop floor, and that you train your supervisors so that the industrial relations are smooth. Can you discuss with our participants some of the major challenges that you face in maintaining harmonious industrial relations?
First is sometimes we need to tone down the expectations, where if the shop floor associates have got some unreasonable expectations, then we come into a dialogue with them, showing them the realities, what we have on the shop floor and what we have in the company. In a transparent way, we indulge into our communication with them and show them these are our ground realities, and make them understand and tone down their expectations to a reasonable expectations. So, this is a first challenge which remains. Second, as I said, in sometimes in multitasking also there may be some resistance by some associates, not by all. Then also we come into picture and then indulge into a dialogue with the concerned, either directly with the workman or via his workman representative and manager and supervisor. We try to explain the reasons that why we require a multitasking and how it can help the organization and the shop floor. So sometimes because of some resistance by some associates, some disturbances are created on a shop floor, and then we need to step in and get involved into those dialogues. So even in some indiscipline cases, because indiscipline cannot be tolerated, on a shop floor. So whenever any such incident is there, then we quickly act on it with definitely with a due process of law which is defined to deal with such act. So that we immediately follow with the support of our supervisors and managers and try to correct the situation on the shop floor. So this is also one of the challenge. Sometimes very personal challenge comes from some blue collar shop floor associates is mainly related to absenteeism, let's say. If they are not serious about their role or their job, then sometimes it may create a problem in the shop floor. The manager may not know whether the gentleman will turn up or not. So the work may suffer. So in such situations, in such chronic absenteeism cases also, we follow a set process and we try to correct a person. So finally shop floor work should not suffer for us.
I understand. So you have highlighted that you aim at maintaining turnover ratio which is about 2 or 2.5% lower than the industry average or the competitors, and you also highlighted the importance of maintaining cordiality at the workshop shop floor. So can you explain or share with our participants how exactly do you retain employees and what do you do for employee retention?
Yes, for controlling attrition, first we need to know the reasons behind attrition.
Exactly.
So we have a two-stage process to know the reasons behind our attrition. First is when any employee is resigning, then we have a confidential and voluntary process of an exit interview, where he gives feedback on a very structured questions. He gives his confidential feedback and put it into a sealed envelope. He is free to either give this envelope to a HR head or to a managing director. And we study his feedback. So this is the first stage or a first process. We have also engaged an outside consultant which interviews. There are a trained psychologist of this particular consultant who interviews the employee who has left us. Definitely we take his prior approval that maybe after your exit you will be contacted by such and such agency, and then are you willing to talk to that agency? And with that consent, this outside consultant speak to the employee and again try to know the reasons in little detail, and then we analyze both this feedback of internal feedback and feedback given to an external psychologist.
Correct.
And then we try to analyze the reasons behind the exit. Based on our long experience of studying various exits, we have classified the reasons into major 4 broad reasons. First, reasons related to his manager or the way in which my employee is managed. So first reason is that, as we popularly also say sometimes, that people do not leave organizations, they leave their managers. So first reason is reason related to his working relation with his manager or supervisor. Second reason is related to his career growth. When employee does not see growth in his career, then he tend to leave the organization. Third reason what we see is his salary or a pay, where he see his pay is more in some other organization. He can get a more in some other organization than what is his current salary and pay in the current organization. Then he may leave. And fourth reasons are very personal reasons related to every employee. It can be his marriage or maybe spouse is moving to other locations, so he is also required to move, or wants to move to a native or where their parents are staying. So these are very personal reasons, or maybe he wants to do a further studies and he wants to quit the job. So these are some reasons which we classify as a personal reasons. So based on these 4, mainly we try to attack these 3 reasons and try to correct those situations wherever possible.
Right.
Let's say if we talk about reasons related to a manager, or maybe the way in which an employee is being managed, then we have various initiatives around leadership development, managerial skill development, where every manager is exposed. In the beginning also I said that every manager is an HR manager.
Yes.
There again here also we equip our managers with various skills of managing an employee, managing a team, in which they create a happy place of working for their colleagues. Where we say a great place to work, means he has to create that environment where employee enjoys working. So this is there are initiatives which even example is the leadership feedback tool that we use, wherein a manager decides to get a feedback on his leadership skill from the associate as well as his peers working in other functions, including his manager. So there is a confidential feedback being collected via moderator, via this tool, and then it's passed on in a little transparent way to a manager, so he can decide his improvement areas based on that feedback. So we try to create an environment where managers are trained continuously, even through various other interventions, or maybe we can say our associate survey, which happens once in 2 years, is also an indicator or a barometer to a manager where he can know that where he need to improve, how he can improve in his department. So employee feels happy, he is satisfied. There are also dialogue which happens once in a year, let's say via our goal and performance dialogue, where he tries to clear expectations of both the parties. So again, these are various initiatives wherein we try to create that managers become a good people managers.
Correct.
We have very fantastic systems working for providing a career growth. Let's say first is a process where once in a year HR and a manager indulge into a dialogue. It's called a talent and associate review, where manager and HR discusses about some key employees and some high potential employees, about how to provide them a career growth, and those measures are recorded and implemented. There is a process wherein employees are free to apply for jobs which are available in other functions. Yeah. So if an employee is working, let's say for 3 years in a one particular function, and if he wish to apply or we wish to move to some other function where in current job he does not see any potential for a growth, but in some other function he see that opportunity of learning or a growth, then he is free to apply for those vacant positions. We have a tool called a talent hub, wherein all vacant positions in the organizations are advertised. This is a worldwide tool which Bosch uses. Even an employee sitting here in Ahmedabad can see the vacancies available in Germany, and he is free to apply for those positions where he feels that my skill and experience set is matching that requirement. So this is a very good opportunity which an employee has, that instead of looking out, instead of going out from the organization, he can look within and satisfy his urge for the career growth.
Correct.
For high potential employees, again we have a system wherein we identify key talent, and there are some special efforts are made and platforms are given to these key talent associates where to exhibit their skills. They are made part of various cross-functional teams. They have been given special projects to work on. So these are some motivational things which happens so as to provide a career growth and a motivation to the associates who needs career growth and who are thinking of changing a job because of the career growth or having a limited opportunities for a career growth. Even we try to give them possibilities of their qualification enhancement. We have a higher education assistance policy wherein, let's say, reimbursed fees for the courses which they would like to, or maybe a higher education. If some BE candidate is there, Bachelor of Engineering candidate wants to pursue his ME, then the admission fees are there, then they are being reimbursed, and there is a special scheme available for anyone to even apply for higher education assistance.
If that education is in the same area as their job, or
Yeah, it is in some cases even there is some distance learning courses are available. Then also it should be a government recognized courses,
Okay.
and then reimbursement of fees and books is available. We currently reimburse up to 30,000 rupees for any such education anybody would like to undergo. So these are some things which are being currently in practice for providing career growth opportunities or maybe skill enhancement opportunities to the associates. Yeah. And coming to the third aspect of retention or maybe a third reason of exit could be let's say trying to match the salaries with the market. We assess every associates on a 3 parameters. Performance, position in a person. It's a detailed methodology wherein each employee is rated on these 3 parameters, and we also get via our worldwide consultant market salary of our competitors or of companies of our nature, and we try to see and create a salary band for each level of the our associates, and try to map their current salary with their performance rating, that is a 3P rating 3P. What we say, and we plot it on the salary band, and then we try to see that what market says should be the ideal
about
salary
the
about the ideal salary of that candidate, and then we see his current salary and the target salary, and the differences are addressed in a annual salary review process.
Is that a part of performance management or?
Yes, in performance management also there is an element of variable pay which is being addressed over and above the fixed rises which is being addressed via annual salary review. In performance rise, when manager and employee engages into a dialogue once in a year, they in the beginning of the year they decide their goals of an employee's goal. This is there is a process called policy deployment which is employed, wherein unit or a company level goals are decided. Based on that company level goal, functional or department goals are decided, and based on a department goals, employee's own goal is decided by a manager and employee in a dialogue which happens once in a year, which is recorded. It's called a goal and performance dialogue. And in this employee goals, I have a rating system, and at the end of the year when he is reviewed how he performed on those pre-decided goals, and based on the rating and completion status, he is rewarded via company performance and individual performance related pay, wherein 50% of that portion comes from the company performance, and 50% is based on this employee's own performance. So this is how even a variable pay is linked on a performance, and along with that there is an annual salary review, which is a lump sum rise into the or maybe increment into the salary which happens. So this is in a 3 different direction, in a 3 different way we try to address this topic of employee retention.
This sounds very interesting, and I'm actually thinking about if this is how you are managing retention, how do you manage for new employees onboarding?
We in good old days, generally what used to happen is that when an employee joins on the first day, generally his first day is spent on filling various forms, which are definitely required for various schemes. Some nominations forms are there, making him a member of certain schemes. So generally, so first day remains little boring for employees. Since last more than a year, we have implemented online tool wherein we call that tool as a first step, when employee accepts our offer. Our HR colleagues will send him or her a link of a first step tool where before joining, maybe at the ease of his home, he fills in all required details of various forms, and for some forms there are common details which are fetched from his master, which is filled by an employee even prior to joining. So on the day of joining, when he is welcomed, he only need to sign those forms. We just take a printout from our tool and then present to him for his physical signing, because some documents are required physical signings for the considering some legal requirements. and then maybe within half an hour or within an hour's time the joining formality is over, which used to be a little boring formalities earlier. And then he is welcomed with a welcome letter or welcome card signed by HR head and managing director welcoming him in the organization with a gift box of chocolates, and he is welcomed in the organization. And then maybe as a part of our process, he undergoes a short safety training prior to he moves to his department for which he has joined. So, and the consequent onboarding within the department is being taken care by his manager, wherein there is a practice to keep everything ready prior to employee joins. Where his desk is defined, his desktop is available. So, all required things are made available so that employee can start functioning as fast as possible.
Correct.
So these are some improvements that we have made to make onboarding little easy, more welcoming and not boring.
I see. So, when is it that the employee receives the first formal performance appraisal? Is it after 1 year, or suppose I join your organization in the month of October? Will it have will my performance cycle be November to October or?
Yes, here we ask all managers to do performance management, what we call as a goal and performance dialogue, setting a goal expectation, or maybe if he is a first timer, he is a new joining, then also within a 1 month of his joining, this process needs to be completed. Maybe if he is joined a later part of the year, then his goals will be limited for that particular calendar year, and maybe if there is a short span remaining in that year, then goals will be accordingly designed and structured, so that he is able to complete those goals in that remaining part of the year. And if he has joined, let's say 2 months before, then his goals will be more of his learning goals, wherein he need to pick up certain things by the year end. But definitely this goal and performance dialogue happens, and then the new cycle starts from the January. For every employee. But anybody joining in between the year also need to undergo and have this goal and performance dialogue with his manager within 1 month of his joining.
So, as we near the end of this interview, according to you, what would be the unique practices of Bosch Rexroth?
As far as unique practices, I can summarize that we have various advanced HR tools which are in practice, right from which I said joining is the first step tool to maybe a very good goal and performance dialogue, that is a performance management tool. We have a variable pay scheme where employees are rewarded for their goals, as well as our annual performance review, which is again connected to the market salary as well. We have a very fantastic system for the training management, where again we have a very good tool wherein any employee can register his name for various training being offered by a Bosch training center, which is our central organization, offering various trainings. It may be 200 plus training modules being in offer, and then employee is free to choose based on his requirement and the manager's consultation training needs. So this is a train module which is a little unique what we see.
Is it located in India? Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, Bosch Training Center is basically located in India, which is responsible for providing the various training, very standardized training modules for 30,000 odd associates which are working for Bosch in India. So this is a shared service kind of setup what we have. So this is a TrainM is a link between the training organization and the employee, wherein everything happens online, including the payments happens and the direct debit to the cost center happens for an employee. So in addition, asking an employee's feedback on a regular basis is also a unique thing, that is once in a once in 2 years period across the whole Bosch, that is 3 lakh associates working to 250 odd locations undergo a same employee feedback, that is a associate survey process, which is again a little unique for us. We also have, as I indicated earlier, a tool called leadership feedback, wherein transparently manager can ask for this 360-degree feedback, and he can improve on his skill. Overall, I can say, just to add to one, can be selected based on his competence and performance to work on short-term assignment, which can be from 1 month to 6 months. We call it a short-term assignment.
Right.
And long-term assignments are from 1 year to 4 years, where in long-term assignment he moves to other country along with his family. So this is another unique thing, and there are various other employee welfare initiatives. We can say little benevolent insurances schemes.
Yes.
We have example for even any kind of natural death also, and any such unfortunate event. Family gets almost a 60 months salary, that is 5 years salary, which is a very great cushion in such unexpected loss. So and good hospitalization scheme is also there in case of hospitalization. So these are some other employee welfare related benefits that are there. There are many others, but yes, this is a few to count. So this makes us a little unique in terms of human resources management.
So Mr. Patel, your interview was really enlightening, and I'm sure that some of the things that we are learning through the video sessions have come alive today with your real life experiences and insights, and I'm sure that my participants have enjoyed as much as I have. Thank you very much for giving time, taking the time out from your busy schedule and coming here to the studio here. Thank you very much.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you.